So today we're going to talk about ombudsman. What is ombudsman and what does it have to do with us? But first, let us start with the brief of brief history of ombudsman.
A brief around the office of the Ombudsman. Since the administration of President Elpidio Corino, there have been initiatives to create an office that would ensure property and accountability of public officers. Several presidents tried to create offices that would eventually be discontinued. The Ombudsman is principally tasked to investigate on its own or upon complaint by any person, in any form of manner, any act or omission of any public officer or employee, including those in government-owned or controlled corporations, which appears to be illegal, unjust, improper, or inefficient. The Swedish Ombudsman, as well as the Finnish one established in the Finnish Constitution of 1919, have a very broad mandate and strong powers. That mandate comprise not only the full public administration, state and municipal, but also the supervision of the activities of the courts as far as the procedural and administrative sides of their work are concerned. This possibility is used only few times each year, but it gives of course more strength to the remarks and opinions that ombudsman makes public. Access to criminality ombudsman is free charge. The ombudsman can be addressed either by letter or orally. A complainant can even be assisted by member of the staff to drop his complaint when needed.
The next ombudsman office was established in Denmark in 1953, with some significant changes from the Swedish model. The Danish model concentrated only on public administration, leaving out the judiciary from its mandate and focusing especially on maladministration in public administrative activities. In the Philippine context, the precursor for the current Office of Ombudsman was created in 1978 when President Ferdinand E. Marcos created a more permanent office of the Ombudsman to be known as Tanod Bayan by virtue of Presidential Decree number 1487. This was later amended by Presidential Decree 1607. The Office of the Ombudsman, as we know it today, was created by 1987 Constitution, which placed a higher level of accountability for government workers based on the principle that public office is a public trust. The Ombudsman of the Philippines, also known as Talod Bayan ng Pilipinas, an ombudsman responsible for investigating and prosecuting Philippine government officials accused of crimes, especially graft and corruption.
Who is the present Ombudsman of the Philippines? As you can see in our presentation, Mr. Samuel R. Martinez is the present Ombudsman of the Philippines today. He is Filipino lawyer serving as the Ombudsman of the Philippines since 2018. So what is the role of the Ombudsman? The Ombudsman of the Philippines, also known as Tanod Bayan ng Pilipinas, using Filipino loanwords, is an ombudsman responsible for investigating and prosecuting Philippine government officials accused of crimes, especially graft and corruption.
So now let's move on to its power, functions, and duties. Under Republic Act 6770, Section 15, investigate and prosecute on its own or on complaint by any person. Any act or omission of any public officer or employee, office or agency, when such act or omission appears to be illegal, unjust, improper, or inefficient, it has primary jurisdiction over cases cognizable by the Sandigan Bayan, and in the exercise of its primary jurisdiction, it may take over at any stage from any investigatory agency of government the investigation of such cases. It means if the case was left to the ombudsman, This is where they start their prosecution by its primary jurisdiction of Sandigan Bayan. Sandigan Bayan is the one who tries to decide criminal and civil cases against government officials. Next, number two, direct upon complaint or at its own instance. Any officers or employees of the government or of any subdivision, agencies, or instrumentality thereof, as well as any government-owned or controlled corporations with original charter, to perform and expedite any act or duty required by law, or to stop, prevent, and correct any abuse or impropriety in the performance of duties. It means any instances that has been complained to any government officials, and if them can act to stop or prevent any instances such as bribery, graft, or corruption.
Number 3. Direct the officer concerned to take appropriate action against a public officer or employee at fault or who neglects to perform an act or discharge a duty required by law, and recommend his removal, suspension, demotion, fine, censure, or prosecution, and ensure compliance therewith, or enforce in disciplinary authority as provided in Section 21 or this Act, provided that the refusal by any officer without just cause to comply with an order of the Ombudsman to remove, suspend, demote, fine, censure, or prosecute an officer or employee who is at fault or who neglects to perform an act or discharge a duty required by law should be ground for disciplinary action against said officer. Section 15, number 3, RA number 6770, see also Section 13, Number 3, Article 11, 1987's Constitution. Number 4, direct the officer concerned in any appropriate case and subject to such limitation as it may provide in its rules of procedure to furnish it with copies of documents relating to contracts or transactions entered into by his office involving the disbursement of use of public funds or properties and report any irregularity to commission on audit for appropriate action. Section 15, number 4, Republic Act number 6770. See also Section 13, number 4, Article 11, 1987, Constitution.
Request any government agency for assistance and information necessary in the discharge of its responsibilities, and to examine, if necessary, pertinent records and documents. 6. Publicize matters covered by its investigation of the matters mentioned in paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hereof, when circumstances so warrant, and with due determine what cases may not be made public, provided further that any publicity issued by the Ombudsman shall be balanced, fair, and true. Determine the causes of inefficiency, red tape, mismanagement, fraud, and corruption in the government, and make recommendations for their elimination and the observance of high standards of ethics in efficiency. It means that you have commit a high crimes. This will be the penalty. And next,
Number 7, determine the causes of inefficiency, red tape, mismanagement, fraud, and corruption in the government and make recommendation for their elimination and observance of high standards of ethics and efficiency. Section 15, Number 7, Republic Act Number 667. See also um, Section 13, Number 7, Article 11, 1987 Constitution. Number 8, administer odds, issue subpoena, and subpoena dossiers tecum, and take testimony in an investigation or inquiry, including the power to examine and have access to bank accounts and records. Section 15, Number 8, Article Republic Act Number 6770. Sup- So, what is the meaning of subpoena and subpoena ducisticum? Subpoena, a writ ordering a witness to attend a court, while the subpoena ducisticum, writ ordering a witness to attend a court and bring relevant documents. Number 9, punish for contempt in accordance with the rules of court and under the same procedure and with the same penalties provided therein. Section 15, Number 9, Republic Act Number 6670. Number 10, delegate to the deputies or its investigators or representatives such authority or duty as shall ensure the effective exercise of performance of the powers, functions, and duties herein or hereinafter provided. Section 15, Number 10, Republic Act Number 6770.
Number 11. Investigate and take appropriate action to regain ill-gotten and unspecified wealth acquired after February 25, 1986, as well as to prosecute those involved. Section 15, Republic Act 6770. This section is constructed in order to investigate and take action to regain the affluent and those who are involved. Number 12. Promulgate its procedural rules and exercise include such powers, functions, or duties as would have been prescribed by law. Section 13, Article 11, 1987. Constitution, see also Section 18, Republic Act Number 6770, ensures in the Constitution keeping the office secure from political interference and influence. The last organic provisions shielded the office from the political control or invention by granting the ombudsman and his deputies whose appointments do not require congressional approval.
And lastly, as we can see, ombudsman stand for fairness and justice. Therefore, according to Plato, school teachers have such powers that only prime ministers can only dream about, and that is fairness. Thank you.